wow, it's hard to talk to yourself and look at yourself. I keep wanting to look off. This is YouTube. This is what you're on. That's the platform you're on. You're on YouTube. I'm Reagan. This is a really bad intro. We're going to redo that. All right. Hello, people. So welcome to my channel. My name is Reagan, or Henka, Henka. I do make music under that name, so if you want to look me up on Spotify, that'd be great. So I decided to make a Booktube channel because I want people to talk about books with, and decided there wasn't really, much a better way. I've joined some Discords for other YouTubers. I've talked to different people, but for some reason, this was less intimidating than actually approaching people and talking to people at the bookstore or something. So hopefully I'll find some book friends here so I don't actually have to go talk to people, because that's, we're about 6 steps away from that. So anyway, I decided I would introduce myself a little bit, do the Booktube newbie tag, and then get out of here and just see how this does. Hopefully, at least 3 people watch it, and I can find somebody to talk about books with. So like I said, my name is Reagan. I am currently living in Texas, but I am from Yokosuka, Japan. I produce music. I love doing different art and craft things. I've got a 3D printer over here. I make little miniatures that I paint and tons of stuff, as well as reading, of course. That is my favorite hobby and just my favorite thing to do right now, honestly. So I'm hoping to meet people here to talk to about that, you know what I'm saying. So I'm hoping to meet people to talk about reading with, because my wife is tired of hearing me talk about my fantasy books. She has read Mistborn. She read the Mistborn trilogy because I was so high on that, but that's it. That's it for fantasy. And it took her no shame in how long it takes you to read. She was reading other books, all this, but it took her months and months to finish those because it's just not what she reads. But anyway, that's kind of my about me, I guess. I'm going to get into the questions from the newbie tag and get on with it. So the first one is, why did you start this channel? So I've wanted to start a YouTube channel for at least like 12 years. I think in 2012, I posted a video of my desk setup for my Xbox 360 because I was going to be a Call of Duty YouTuber and, was going to get sponsored, make all my money off that. Never went further than I posted one desk tour, never even posted gameplay. And then I had a few other attempts. I didn't even get that far. But, I've always wanted to do this, and I finally have something where I feel like I can talk about it, because like with music, making music is not interesting of a process for me. It's just kind of listening to the same thing over and over and, let's put this in. So that I didn't know how to, make it interesting. But for some reason, books did seem like something I could, make interesting, or at least start a conversation about. So I'm hoping, like I said earlier, I'm really just hoping to find people to talk with, make a community or find a community, just people who like nerdy things that I like and want to talk about that. I also was really inspired by John from Talking Story, as well as Brian Lee Durfee from Brian Lee Durfee, because both of them have recently said, like, start your channel. Like, if you want to do something like this, just do it. Didn't think I'd be where I am today, and yeah. So number 2 is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube, not YouTube? So like I said, I grew up in Japan. I produce music. I do a bunch of other nerdy hobbies. So I'm really hoping maybe that those things give me a different perspective than some other people have. And I don't want to say that there's a ton that makes me unique, so it feels like I'm tooting my own horn. And of course, to be doing this, you kind of have to do that. But I just hope I offer a new perspective. And I haven't been reading for a terribly long time. I started reading like a year ago, and maybe that can give me different things to draw on, where other people might compare to other books. I'll compare to some other piece of media because I don't have as big of a reference library of books, I guess. I don't know. Number 3, what are you most excited for about this new channel? So like I said, really it's just about meeting people. I want to talk about nerdy things with people, make friends over the internet, and that's really it. Why do you love reading? So I always loved stories, but I liked to read as a kid and then stopped, and for a long time I just watched movies and TV, and that's how I consumed stories. And I collected movies for a long time too, actually, but I've gotten rid of those since. But once I found fiction, because I started with nonfiction, but once I found stories through book, I was like, wow, this is insane. You can connect so much more with these characters, with these stories. And I don't know, it just, something clicked, and I really love the escapism, how deep you can get into the world, and that's great for me. What book or series got you into reading? So, like I said, I was reading nonfiction before because Ali Abdaal, the productivity YouTuber, he got me into reading nonfiction. And then John Green's, Looking for Alaska. That was the first fiction book I actually read after getting back into reading. And I was just blown away by it. And I mean, it's a tiny little book, and I was just amazed by the story that you could tell in there, and started reading more. Of course, I picked up Mistborn, read that whole trilogy, and just fell in love with fantasy, and here we are. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So my 3 favorite, I would say, would be Petrik Leo, Brian Lee Durfee, and Mike's book reviews. And for Mike, he has a Discord that he's always active in, so I mean, I could ask him a question if I really wanted to. Brian Lee Durfee, I'm really curious to hear about his experience writing those just massive fantasy books while doing full-time job and YouTube and reading 20-something books a month. And then Petrik would be, how the fuck do you read in your second language? Like, that is insane that you're reading these massive books in your second language. How long did it take to become fluent? Like, confident in that? Did you start with kids' books? Like, I have so many questions. I could not just ask him one. What challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So first would definitely be anxiety. Just getting used to posting myself, seeing myself, listening to myself, filming, like everything. I've never been good with getting myself out there. That's why I'm not a famous musician right now, because I don't know how to market and put myself out there, and I'm scared of the reaction that I'll get from people. So getting over that will definitely be hard, and then also just consistency, making sure I'm getting a book or a video a week right now is kind of what I'm hoping for. We'll see. I've never done YouTube, so I don't know what the workload looks like, and I'm already busy, so we'll see. When did you start reading? So I read a lot as a kid. I fell out of it in middle school, kind of, but like I loved Percy Jackson. I read through those 4 or 5 times. Harry Potter, Series of Unfortunate Events, things like that. I read like the first Hunger Games, but I didn't read on. I think I've stopped reading by then. I didn't read like Divergent, Maze Runner. Those were all after I stopped. But then like a year ago, like I said, I picked up Fault in Our Stars, started reading, and funny enough, like that, I don't even read stuff like that anymore, really. But that's a book that got me into reading. So, you never know, I guess, what'll do it for you. Where do you read? So I have a reading chair like right there. I have a very small apartment. Like, it's the living room and kitchen are kind of one room, and then there's a bedroom. That's it. So it's very cramped. So my reading chair is right next to my desk, is right next to my bookshelf, is right next to my wife's desk, is right next to the TV. Yeah. What kind of books do you like to read? So like I said, mostly fantasy. I'm getting into sci-fi now. I've been reading The Expanse, which I am loving. The Expanse is so good. I really like Star Wars books. Those are fun, just like palate cleansers, something easy to read. And then, of course, Stephen King, the king of not just horror, but just writing in general. He is amazing, and I don't need to sing his praises. You've all probably read some Stephen King. If you haven't, you've definitely heard of him, and people much more qualified on his work can talk to you about him. And then the last one is, what does your book collection look like? You can kind of see some of it right here. Yes, I do have too many books for someone who's only been reading a year. I have something called a problem, but I'll show you the rest later. I'll milk it for content and just do like a bookshelf tour or something. Yeah, so that is it. Thank you for sticking around for this very awkward first video. If you like it, go ahead and like. If you want to subscribe, please do. If you want to click the link in my description to go over to my Spotify and subscribe or follow me over there, that would be awesome. All the music that you hear in this video is done by me, so if you like it, you may like my other stuff. Well, thanks for sticking around, guys. Have a good one, and hopefully see you again.